Happy Father's Day, Internet. This is my father. This is my son.
I'm older than him.
This is my Holy Spirit.
Fuck these pussies! You're not getting it. I'm on your side here. Run, Lily!
We're good people!
This is high school.
We watched a movie, Assassination Nation, which came out last year, and it's directed by Sam Levinson, and it stars a whole mess of people. And basically, this movie is about
nothing. It's about nothing. Nothing happens in the
Can
entire
you
movie.
stop for 5 seconds? Assassination Nation tells the story of an idyllic small town on the verge of collapse after everybody's information gets hacked and leaked to the public, and all their private shit gets put on blast. And what follows is basically The Purge.
This movie is a harrowing tale of the importance of good cybersecurity practices.
Yes. And also a harrowing tale of, society.
We live in a society.
We live in a society.
We live in a society.
That's the gist of the movie.
Let me preface this. I saw the trailer for this movie a while back. It came out last year. I saw the trailer and I was like, wow, that looks
Bad.
pretty not great.
Oh my god, I love this song.
What song?
This song.
Give me all your venom, yeah, I love that.
And then it kind of bombed at the box office. No one really saw it.
Was this actually in most theaters?
Yeah. Well, I don't know how.
It got a wide release?
I don't know how limited the release was, but it did get a wide release.
Oh wow, that shocks me.
And it didn't really do well. I think most people kind of felt the same way I did about the trailer, that it wasn't a good trailer, and it was very, it seemed very try-hard. Then I heard people talking about it, and people were praising it, and I was like, that's okay, I'll check it out. And then I watched it one night, and I was like, hey, that was pretty dope.
And then he made us watch it now, and
And
you
he-
don't share that
I
opinion.
made them watch it. It
was bad.
Nah, not really.
Yeah.
You literally watched
It was a solid okay.
That's fair.
Like, it was it.
That's fair.
I
I have my
checked.
issues with it, don't get me wrong.
Oh,
I have
no,
issues
you
with the
don't.
movie.
And we'll get into that, I'm
Yeah,
sure.
we'll get to that for sure.
I
But
got maybe fucking 40 minutes into it before I went right down to the desk lobby and checked out.
in other words, he can't really comment. Anyway.
No, in other words, I can tell you it was a bad movie because I mentally checked out of it.
Anyway, so this movie is something of a hashtag woke
We live in a society.
social commentary. It's a microcosm of real life.
We live in a society.
Guys, okay, stop. I'm trying to actually summarize this
And
movie.
that is the summarization.
That's
though.
it.
I'm not even being sarcastic.
Everything in the
You're
movie.
trying to use like big words to.
No, I'm literally trying to summarize.
But we literally live in a society!
The summarization of the goal point it's trying to make is that society is bad and the
Get the fuck outta
Generation Z isn't taken seriously and boomers bad, young people good. Like it is
I wouldn't even go. I feel like that's.
social media bad, phone bad, book good. Like,
Yeah, but
that's
I
everything
feel
it's trying to
like that.
say.
I feel like that's.
And that it doesn't.
I feel like
and
it's
that
productive.
women aren't treated as.
Well, it's a takedown of virtually
like,
everything.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Its scope was too broad to narrowly and concisely put in anything other than we live in a society.
I don't agree.
It's
I
just-
actually don't agree with that at all. I would say that it actually it's making valid points about everything.
I'm not
that's
disagreeing with
happening.
that. I'm not disagreeing with
It's
that.
taking on Americans' wildly patriarchal society. It's taking on the problems of the digital age. It's taking on like fucking LGBTQ discrimination. It's taking on a whole bunch of shit.
I'm aware.
And it's doing it effectively, but
At times.
At times, but I'm saying, and then in the process, it also is doing it to something of a wildly self-indulgent degree, and that's not necessarily a bad thing at all times. This movie's very stylized.
Which some of it is good and some of it is bad.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot about this movie that is. This movie is the best way I can describe it is unapologetic. It's totally like, this is what we're doing. We know this is gonna be over the top and just fucking weird and crazy and.
It goes through a lot of tonal shifts throughout. That are
I don't even think so. I would say it's pretty consistent tonally
no,
across the
because
board.
there are times where it's very brutal, and then there are times where it's very over the top, like
Yeah, but I'm saying you
nonsensical,
can
like-
be both of those things. You can
Yeah.
be over the top and still be really brutal and violent.
I guess, but it seems like if you're going for the over-the-top vibe, like Kick-Ass, for example.
Which is a comedy.
Which is a comedy, but it's just something that's so wildly over the top that... But then you have a scene like in the comics where he cuts the dog's head off and sews it onto someone else's body. Like, that's...
Why would you do that?
Okay, but we're
It's in
also
the comics.
okay.
Jesus
We're
Christ.
also talking about
The fuck is
Kick-Ass
wrong with
2, which is a garbage comic.
Okay, I'm not disagreeing with that. Actually, that's the point I'm making, is that when you have a tonal shift like that in something that otherwise...
That wasn't
If
really
you guys
total
want
shit like that.
if you guys want to come back to the review any
One second.
now.
It's not really tonal shift because Kick-Ass has always been like really fucking dark like that. It's always had
I'm
those
aware,
moments.
I've
Like
read
you
the
have,
comics.
yeah. So that's my point. Like you have like.
And those are always the worst parts because it throws off the tone of the
but
whole
no,
thing.
they're not bad because it throws off the tone. They're bad because
They're self-loathing?
because they're like pseudo edgy and like trying like look how envelope pushing we are. It's like American Horror Story. Anyway, back to the movie. I think it did what it was trying to do effectively.
I mean, parts of it, yes. Parts of it, no. Like, there's... I like and I appreciate the points that it was making, but some of the points were...
Very heavy-handed.
Yeah, very ham-fisted, very heavy-handed. Like,
That's
there's a whole
fine.
speech at the end.
Ham-fisted?
Yeah.
Yes. Have you never heard that phrase?
No.
Yes. Heavy-handed.
Ham-fisted.
Yes.
Ham-fisted, yes.
Ham-fisted.
Yes.
Yes.
Look it up on Urban Dictionary right now. You'll probably get a different definition.
Oh, so we're gonna do that.
Anyway.
Keep talking, because I'm
Anyway.
like, not involved in this.
Anyway.
But, like, there's a speech at the end that has... It makes a lot of really good points, but it's literally, like, 2 minutes, 3 minutes of monologuing. It's like Ayn Rand just jerking herself off at
I
the
wouldn't
end
go
of
that
Atlas
far.
Shrugged.
It's not the fucking Fountainhead.
I was saying Atlas Shrugged, but okay.
Sure, but no. Okay, so I mean, I do get your criticisms of it, and I definitely agree with them for the most part. Like it is very heavy-handed, it is very self-indulgent at times, but I would kind of argue those are to its strengths rather than its faults.
Interjection. Ham-fisted is very, very different than ham-fisting. Just making that well known to everyone right here. Two, one of them's North Pole, the other one's South. That's just very, very different.
Boy.
Again, most of the stylization in it was really well done. The cinematography was largely beautiful. The score, besides the fact that the
soundtrack is very loud.
The soundtrack was definitely loud, and the dialogue was stupidly quiet, was great. The special effects were pretty fantastic, actually.
Yeah. Not the acting across the board.
The acting was okay.
Blood looked
That was
alright.
good.
I'm not going to disparage the acting, but I'm not going to say it was great either. It was okay.
That's fine. I definitely want to like applaud like those things you said. I definitely want to applaud. I also want to applaud them for being like one of the only fucking movies to cast a trans actress to play a trans character,
And that's fantastic.
and that's great.
That's
like awesome. Yeah, I mean, what I like is, and to get into more specifics, this is a hard movie to review. It's just like it's so not like anything else that you really can't draw comparisons to anything else, which is, I guess, a good thing because.
I mean, yes and no, because I mentioned to you already. I felt like at a lot of times it did have a very like Tragedy Girls type vibe, but not as good as
I don't
Tragedy
agree.
Girls.
I don't even agree. Like Tragedy Girls is so uniquely its own thing, and it's so like it has the same message of like social media, digital age scary. But like to get into more specifics, I like the things that it's tackling. I like the fact that it's tackling American stupidly patriarchal ideas like, oh, a girl is fucking a married man or whatever, and hey, let's demonize the teenage girl and not the fucking adult predator.
No,
Like,
I agree.
it's-
Like I said, I like every message this movie puts forth. I just think the way that it does it isn't necessarily the best.
I mean, that's fair. The style in which it does so is very, like I said, like the best word I can say is self-indulgent because it is very.
Just mindless.
It's very. I wouldn't say it's mindless.
It's a mindless self-indulgence?
To get political here.
Alright, here's where I check out.
This movie's great in that it functions as kind of like a call to arms against the fucking world we're living in right now, and basically like a giant middle finger to society.
We live in a
Society.
But and
Love
to get political here,
Lee, you're getting political? You never do
never
that.
heard, unheard of. I do wonder what this movie would have been like. If it would have been less ham-fisted and less overt.
ED, not ING.
If it was directed by a woman.
Maybe. I mean, I don't know. I think really I'm just going to put that down to any individual director is probably going to do it in a different way.
Of course, but I mean, like when you're having a male director tackling issues that are solely outside of their perspective.
Of course, no. It's the same as the discourse with everything, I don't want to get into it, but it's the same as the
I-
discourse and
I'm-
everything with Congress right
Sure.
now. But
Well,
yeah.
okay, yes, absolutely. But
So
I guess
see the point you're making.
I have to wonder how different this movie would have been if it was tackled by a woman.
I'm just also not gonna jump on it and be the white knight that's
No, I'm not. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm just curious because I'm like that is definitely something that
Was this movie written by the director or no?
I don't believe so.
Okay, that was the writer a woman? Just curious.
But it was written by the director.
Okay.
So, again, I have to question that. What you dislike about this movie?
Everything.
Well, I mean, the writing, as I've said, was very ham-fisted at times. The pacing was kind of abysmal, almost.
The first act is very long. Like, before shit pops off, there's a good 45 minutes.
It's closer to 50-55, I checked.
And so, like...
It's like 50-55 minutes of this movie where almost nothing happens. It's just setting up the political statements that it wants to make.
I appreciate the setup.
Yeah, but the setup didn't
It
need to
could
be
have been about
55
15 minutes shorter.
It could have been about 40 minutes shorter. It could have
I
been
don't
15 or 20
It
minutes.
could
I
have.
don't agree.
It could have just. What? How long is the movie?
It's
An hour and 50 minutes.
Could have been an hour and 50 minutes shorter, in my opinion.
Anyway.
Just the first half was so overwhelmingly long. Like, it was so
There's a lot.
unnecessarily
Let's
long.
think. There's a lot going on, and there's a lot to set up. But at the same time, I think it could have been a solid 30 minutes. I like this movie because it's very online. Like,
In line with your own political
Thank
beliefs and
you.
the fact
I
that we
can't-
live in a society.
I can't speak. Yes, that. Especially the last part. We live in a society.
Yeah, we live in a
I'm
society.
gonna kill myself. How would you rate this movie?
It is good for fans of people who believe that we live in a society.
Good for fans of people who believe that we live in a society,
Mhm.
not just good for people who. Sure, whatever. I'm gonna say that it's solid. It's really well directed, and I like the performances, and I like the messages it's getting across. I just wish that it wasn't so heavy-handed in 90% of it. I'm not even gonna ask you.
Well, I'm going to tell you anyway.
You shouldn't. You
No,
literally
you
didn't
really
watch
don't.
it.
You
Did
should.
you ever see Animal House? The movie Animal House?
Sure.
Yeah, this movie is interesting. That is one word I have to use to describe it.
It is interesting. I will give it that. And
It is
conceptually, yes, it was very unique. Conceptually, it was. I mean, interesting. You're right.
Yeah,
It
it's
just-
delivering
it
a
wasn't
lot of solid.
necessarily-
It's delivering a lot of solid points.
But the delivery was the problem.
Sure,
Give
that's
you a
fair.
summary. At least from my point of view.
Sure, go for it.
4 teenage high school girls are bored, their computers get hacked, something happens, the police are in on it, they form a red jumpsuit apparatus cover band,
All of
everyone
that is
starts
wrong.
killing each
Literally
other.
nothing
At
about this
least
is right.
half of that is
Wow,
wrong.
I really checked out pretty early on this
90%
son of
of
a
that
bitch.
was wrong. Anyway, I would recommend checking it out.
No, I mean, if you've got some time to kill and you could find it on, what is it, on Hulu or Netflix or anything?
It's actually on Hulu. Yeah,
If
that's
you
where
have
I watched
literally, if there's
If
nothing
you want to
better
watch
do.
it for free on Hulu, like, I would recommend it. It's not going to be, like, a total waste of your time.
Look, what it comes down to, it's really good political and social satire. And
No, really good isn't ham-fisted as shit.
But if
well,
you,
no, it's still. I'm saying as satire, it's functioning really well. But I'm saying as delivering a message within that satire, that's when it gets. a
Yeah,
little
okay,
much.
fair enough.
if you don't have like laundry to do or dishes to be washed or like literally anything else that you could be doing productive with your time, then yeah, sure, watch, put it in.
It's got a big yellow dude with a smiley face head.
What?
That's Assassination Classroom.
What the fuck is that?
It's an anime.
Oh Jesus Christ! Get
That
out
I
of
keep
here.
seeing popping up on Hulu for some reason.
Okay. Anyway, hey, like, comment, subscribe. Go
Fuck
watch.
yourself, San Diego.
Like this video if you think we live in a society.
Comment. We live in a society.
If you comment, we live in a society, he will personally subscribe to your channel.
I won't do
Yes,
that.
he will.
I really won't.
He will.
He probably won't, but you could try.
You
never
can give
know.
it a shot. Roll the dice.
If you personally mail him letters saying we live in a society, I will pay you $5. His address is one.
I guess your generation is a little desensitized.